In this video, you're going to discover the diet secrets of some of Hollywood's most iconic stars from the 1960s. Hello lovelies, my name is Laura, and in this video, I'm going to take you back in time to reveal the diet secrets of some of Hollywood's most glamorous stars from the 1960s. These ladies were not only beautiful on the outside, but they also had amazing figures that we can all learn from. So sit back and relax and let me take you on a journey through time. The 1960s was a golden era for Hollywood. The biggest stars at the time were household names, and their diets were closely followed by fans around the world. Sharon Tate, Audrey Hepburn, and Sophia Loren were just a few of the glamorous stars whose diet secrets were coveted by women everywhere. The 1960s was a time when being thin was not only fashionable, but also seen as a sign of success. Actresses such as Sharon Tate and Audrey Hepburn were known for their extreme diets, which allowed them to maintain their slender figures. Sharon Tate definitely drank a lot of coffee and smoked cigarettes, while Audrey Hepburn ate nothing but salad and spaghetti. While these diets might seem extreme, they were actually quite common at the time. Many actresses believed that being thin was essential to their success, and they were willing to do whatever it took to maintain their weight. However, not all actresses subscribe to this way of thinking. Sophia Loren, for example, was known for her curvaceous figure, which she considered to be her biggest asset. Loren refused a diet and instead embraced her natural curves. This 1960s old Hollywood diet secrets attitude garnered her much admiration from fans around the world. In a time when being thin was the norm, Sophia Loren proved that there was more than one way to be beautiful. 1960s old Hollywood diet secrets are still talked about today because they offer a glimpse into the lives of some of the most famous women of the time. These women were not only incredibly talented, but also incredibly thin, thanks to their dedication to their diets. While some might see these women as role models, others see them as a cautionary tale, proof that being too thin can have serious consequences on one's health. Regardless of how one feels about these 1960s old Hollywood diet secrets, there is no denying that there are fascinating parts of old Hollywood history. The 1960s was a decade of change in America. From the artist boycott of the Vietnam War to the Civil Rights Act, people were pushing for change. Even old Hollywood was getting in on the action, with stars like Audrey Hepburn and Marilyn Monroe becoming icons of 1960s fashion. But what about the everyday person? What was life really like in America during the 1960s? For one thing, diets were very different. While today we tend to think of the 1960s as a time of free love and hippie culture, the reality is that most Americans were still pretty conservative when it came to food. Meat and potatoes were still the mainstay of the American diet, and processed foods were only just starting to become popular in the 1960s. Breakfast cereals, instant coffee, and pre-packaged meals were all relatively new inventions, and dieting wasn't nearly as common as it is today. Another big difference between life in America today and life in America in the 1960s is the way we spend our leisure time. These days, it's all about entertainment on demand. We can watch whatever TV show we want, whenever we want, thanks to streaming services like Netflix. In the 1960s, however, people had to make do with what was on TV at the moment. There were only 3 major networks, so if your favorite show wasn't on, you were out of luck. And forget about TiVo or DVR. If you missed an episode of your favorite show, you had to wait a whole week to see it again. Finally, there's the matter of transportation. These days, we take cars and planes for granted, but in the 1960s, both cars and planes were a lot less common than they are now. Fewer than half of American households had a car, and air travel was still something that most people only did for business or vacation. All in all, life in America was a lot different in the 1960s than it is today. People back then were much leaner. Although much has changed in the last 60 years, 1960 wasn't quite the Stone Age. What took place? Since the 1960s, there have been changes in our way of life that have had an impact on how much exercise we get. Instead of walking, we drive more often, and we all have way more cars. For every 1,000 individuals, we possess 430 cars in 1960. Today, the number is over 800 cars per 1,000. In 1960, children played outside after school until it got dark. They lacked access to the television as well as tablets and other technology that kept them occupied all day, like kids today. The typical American lady today weighs 170 pounds. The typical female in 1960 weighed around 140 pounds. The difference is almost the same for men, an additional 30 pounds. In 1960, people did not exercise all that much more. The difference is the amount of food they consumed. People consumed substantially smaller quantities in 1960. The size of a muffin or bagel was roughly a third to half the size as it is today. A burger weighed roughly 4 to 5 ounces. Nowadays, the average burger is around twice that size. Every day, many hundreds of calories come from much larger quantities and portions. There were substantially smaller portion sizes and meal amounts. Additionally, fewer people ever ate at restaurants. Nowadays, people eat out a lot more often, especially going to fast food restaurants. Back in the day, it was like a really big treat to actually eat out, and people didn't do it even once a week back then. But I feel like now, like most people maybe even eat out a few times a month. Americans consume a lot of food, yet we don't even recognize fullness anymore. Often we eat past the point of fullness. We consume food till we are full. There are countless diets available to aid with weight loss. There are calorie-based diets, protein diets, Mediterranean diets, raw food diets, and more. Most dieters quickly discover that very few diets lead to sustained weight loss. The only way to lose weight is to permanently alter your eating habits. And here's what dieting looked like in the 1960s. The health obsession sweeping America is not a new phenomenon. Dieting, though, used to look very different than today. When Diet Colas first appeared on the market 50 years ago, commercials for new cooking oils and canned fruits bragged about how they would help consumers lose weight. And let's look at some popular diet foods from the 60s. And this one was one of the most popular products of the decade, and this one was called Seago Diet Liquid Food. This revolutionary new food was designed to help people lose weight, and it quickly became a sensation. However, some people were skeptical of the claims made by the manufacturers of Seago Diet Liquid Food. They argued that the only way to lose weight was through diet and exercise, but others insisted that Seago Diet Liquid Food was the answer to their weight loss. So who was right? Let's take a closer look at this fascinating product. 1960s Seago Diet Liquid Food was made from a variety of ingredients, including soy protein, wheat germ, and vitamin A. It came in both chocolate and vanilla flavors, and it could be consumed either cold or hot.
Delicious and satisfying 225-calorie meal, now at a new low price.
Manufacturers claim that Seago liquid diet food contained all the nutrients needed for a healthy diet, and they boasted that it could help people lose weight quickly and safely. But not everyone was convinced. Some experts argued that the claims made by the manufacturers were unsubstantiated. They pointed out that there was no scientific evidence to support the claim that Seago Diet Liquid Food could help improve weight loss. Moreover, they warned that consuming large quantities of liquid food could be dangerous. Nevertheless, many people continue to use Seago Diet Liquid Food in an attempt to lose weight. And while there is no guarantee that it will work for everyone, there's no doubt that this fascinating product has had a lasting impact on pop culture, and it was very popular among 1960s housewives. When not promoting its new flavors, Seago's advertisements featured a couple having fun in the woods together. And the next 1960s diet product was Tab. In the 1960s, diet soda was all the rage. Tab, in particular, was a popular choice among those looking to cut back on calories. The unique taste of Tab quickly made it a favorite among soda drinkers, and its low-calorie content made it a popular choice for dieters. However, as time went on, concerns began to arise about the health impacts of diet soda. Some studies suggested that the artificial sweeteners used in diet soda could cause health problems. Others claimed that the lack of calories in diet soda could lead to weight gain. As a result, Tab and other diet sodas fell out of favor with health-conscious consumers. However, in recent years, new research has suggested that diet soda may not be as bad for you as originally thought, and so Tab is once again becoming a popular choice for those looking to enjoy a delicious and refreshing beverage without the calories.
Enjoy Tab and keep your shape in shape. Be a mind sticker.
And next is Diet Pepsi. In the 1960s, Diet Pepsi was introduced as a healthier alternative to regular Pepsi. The new soda was marketed as a low-calorie option for people looking to lose weight. However, critics quickly pointed out that Diet Pepsi was actually more harmful than regular Pepsi. One study found that Diet Pepsi caused more people to gain more weight than who drank regular Pepsi. Another study found that Diet Pepsi increased the risk of heart disease. As a result, many health experts began to recommend avoiding Diet Pepsi altogether. Today, the 1960s Diet Pepsi is still available, but has been overshadowed by its healthier counterpart, Diet Coke. Nevertheless, the 1960s Diet Pepsi remains an important part of American history, and I don't really see how Diet Pepsi is any different than Diet Coke in my opinion. They both have aspartame in them and artificial sweeteners, unless the 1960s Pepsi had some other ingredients that are no longer around. And the next one is Hollywood diet bread. In the 1960s, Hollywood was the center of the film world, and celebrities were always looking for new ways to stay slim and stylish. One popular diet at the time was the Hollywood diet bread, which supposedly allowed dieters to lose weight while still enjoying bread. The diet consisted of eating 2 slices of Hollywood diet bread with each meal. The bread was made with special ingredients that were supposed to help speed up the metabolism and promote weight loss. While there is no evidence that the Hollywood diet bread actually worked, it became a popular diet trend in the 1960s. Celebrities like Elizabeth Taylor and Marilyn Monroe were said to be fans of the diet bread, and it even inspired a best-selling diet book. Today, the Hollywood diet bread is nothing more than a curiosity from a bygone era. However, it remains a reminder of how fad diets can take a hold in popular culture. And I actually found some recipes for the diet bread online. I'm kind of curious. I want to remake it. Seems interesting to me. I wish you could still buy it. And the next one from the 1960s is medicated slim mint gum. In the 1960s, a new diet gum called Slim Mint hit the shelves. This gum promised to help people lose weight by curbing their appetites. The gum was very popular, and many people turned to it as a way to control their weight. However, there were some problems with the gum. First of all, it was very high in sugar. This made it difficult for people to stick to their diets. Additionally, the gum was also known to cause gas and bloating. As a result, many people stopped using it. Despite its drawbacks, Slim Mint Diet Gum was a popular product in the 1960s, and it helped many people control their weight. Today, there are many different types of diet gums on the market, and they're still much more effective than Slim Mint.
Avoid temptation with Slim Mint Diet Control Gum. Instant willpower that starts working when you start chewing. Helps rescue you from temptation so you can lose weight.
However, this product will always be remembered as one of the first diet gums on the market. 1960s Slim Mint Diet Gum will always be a place in history, and it was even popular in the 80s because I found that 1980s commercial that you just saw, and I think they put a lot of caffeine in this gum too. And another 1960s diet thing was Mott's figure management meals, and these meals were were all the rage in the 1960s. They promised to help women slim down and achieve their perfect figure. These meals were heavily advertised on TV and in magazines, and while some women may have found success with the diet, others found that it was simply too restrictive and not very delicious. The meal plan consisted of just 4 foods: grapes, cottage cheese, boiled chicken, and a lettuce. Women were instructed to eat these foods in specific combinations and proportions in order to lose weight, but many found that the diet was simply too boring and monotonous to stick to. In addition, the lack of variety made it difficult to get all of the nutrients they needed. As a result, many women abandoned the diet and went back to eating something more palatable. Yeah, and I saw the pictures, it does look quite disgusting. And another 1960s diet trend was wishbone salad dressing. In the 1960s, wishbone salad dressing was all the rage. Every hostess worth her salt served it at her parties, and every self-respecting housewife kept a bottle in her fridge. It was a perfect finishing touch to any dish, and it helped to make even the simplest meal seem special. Made with only the finest ingredients, wishbone salad dressing was truly in a class of its own. But then something happened. Slowly but surely, people began to lose interest in wishbone salad dressing. It fell out of fashion, and before long, it was all but forgotten. Today, only a handful of people remember this once beloved condiment, but for those who do, the taste of 1960s wishbone salad dressing will always be remembered. And I just love the vintage commercials. And another 1960s diet trend was grapefruits. In the 1960s, grapefruit was considered the dieter's dream food. Packed with nutrients and low in calories, grapefruit was touted as a surefire way to shed unwanted pounds. And while there is no specific evidence to support this claim that grapefruit helps weight loss, many dieters at the time swore by its effectiveness. Whether eaten alone or paired with other foods, grapefruit was seen as a simple and effective way to slim down. Today, grapefruit remains a popular diet food, though its reputation has been tempered by more modern research. But for many dieters, the 1960s were the heyday of grapefruit, when this humble fruit was thought to hold the key to easy weight loss. And I remember, like, they had special grapefruit spoons you could use to cut out all the little squares, and a lot of people put sugar on top too. And now let's get into some old Hollywood diets. And the first one on the list is Sharon Tate. Sharon Tate was one of the most promising young actresses of her generation. A former beauty queen, she had already starred in several films when her life was tragically cut short by the Manson family in 1969. Her death stunned Hollywood and shocked the world. Sharon Tate was just 26 years old when she was brutally killed, and her unborn child was also killed. The tragedy of her death has been overshadowed by the gruesome details of the crime, but Sharon Tate was more than just a victim. She was a talented actress with a bright future ahead of her. Her tragic death robbed the world of a truly special talent. Sharon Tate's diet from the 1960s was nothing short of amazing. She ate a lot of vegetables, fruits, and grains. Sharon never ate processed foods or artificial sweeteners, but she loved to drink coffee and tea, and Sharon was very careful about what she put into her body. And it showed. Sharon had an incredible figure and beautiful skin. Her hair was always shiny and luxurious. Sharon's diet was simple but effective. If more people ate like Sharon Tate, perhaps the world would be a healthier place, at least in the 1960s. Sharon had a rather diverse diet. When Sharon returned from her many excursions, she would splurge on a chili burger from Dolores Diner in West LA. As her sister Deborah Tate noted, Sharon liked hamburgers. Sharon also loved blue corn tortillas, a specialty dish from El Coyote served for 1 month out of the year. She used the cooking skills her mother had taught her in a set of pictures that you can see her cooking in her family home. Sharon is shown cooking dinner for the entire family and her mother. When she and Roman started dating, she started cooking various Polish cuisine. Sharon was a wonderful hostess who would cook for their small dinner parties according to what acquaintances have said about her over the years. She ate very healthy and didn't overindulge, and she didn't didn't necessarily always splurge on rich foods because she was concerned about her appearance, and her nutrition would change depending on her location. When in Italy, she would consume Italian cuisine. When in France, she would consume French cuisine. She was pretty active when it came to fitness from a young age. She played basketball, also swimming and cheerleading. Later, Roman also taught her how to ski. She was enrolled in a number of dance classes when she was originally placed under contract, and she often worked out in the studio gym. And she seems to be very naturally athletic, and she would consume foods like hot spinach salads and tonic water with lemon as a part of her diet, especially while working. Her diet included a lot of vegetables, and she liked to experiment with different seasonings. And she wouldn't eat a lot of breads, potatoes, and sweets, but she obviously did indulge occasionally. And her sister Deborah did say she loved burgers and Polish food, and she would occasionally drink, but she never went overboard. But she did also smoke, which she considered it to be an aid for maintaining her weight. And I think that was very popular in the 1960s. So many people smoked to maintain their weight. She was 5'6", and her pre-pregnancy weight was an average of 110 pounds. So that's actually quite thin for 5'6". And I found an old newspaper article from I magazine in the May 1969 issue. Although the piece was published in the middle of 1969, its origins were probably in 1968 before her pregnancy. And Sharon says, "When everyone else is eating creamed chicken or potatoes au gratin, I have hot spinach salad. It's incredibly good boiled spinach with oil, lemon, vinegar, and pieces of well-done bacon. Most of the time, rosemary, oregano, and sage are the ABCs of dieting. It's a wonder what spices can do for ordinary vegetables and salad. If I stick to proper food and go low on sweets, potatoes, and bread, I'm all right. I'll stay 111 pounds without the heavy midriff bulge that comes from sweets. I also drink a lot of tonic water and lemon. It's non-fattening, thirst-quenching, and absorbs the fatty things you eat." And next on the list is Audrey Hepburn. And there are several reasons why Audrey Hepburn is a cultural icon. She was not just a talented Oscar-winning actress and committed philanthropist, but her distinctive sense of style also served to inspire generations of young women. She was also well known for having a very slender figure that had over the years been linked to eating disorders, but I don't think those are actually accurate. I think she was just naturally quite thin. Audrey Hepburn never really showed a huge interest in dieting. She loved pasta and Italian cuisine. She consumed a lot of cereals and didn't eat a lot of meat and small amounts of nearly everything, according to her son Luca Dotti. Hepburn's longtime lover Robert Wolders claimed that despite the actress's lack of a diet, they frequently outwalked one another when they went out for long walks. She had a strong metabolism, but wasn't overly active, according to Wolders, who also started dating Hepburn in 1980 and remained with her until her passing in 1993. Hepburn ate a straightforward, balanced diet. She and Wolders frequently ate brown bread and jam for breakfast, a lean meat or pasta dish with fresh vegetables from the garden for lunch, and chicken soup with vegetables for dinner. However, her husband reveals that Hepburn had chocolate after dinner, baking chocolate, and she had a finger or two of scotch at night. Additionally, Hepburn enjoyed carbohydrates. Her younger son, Dottie, talks about her love for pasta in an interview. He says, Audrey had a major pasta addiction. Dottie recounted in his own book, Audrey at Home, she was unable to live without pasta. She basically cooked spaghetti al pomodoro every week at home, which was her go-to recipe. Spaghetti and tomato sauce was her all-time favorite. That would be enough for her to get by, Dottie said. And next on the list is Brigitte Bardot, who is one of the most controversial and beloved movie stars of the 20th century. Her natural beauty and sex appeal made her an international icon, and her films helped to define an era. Brigitte was born in Paris in 1934, and she grew up in a wealthy family. She began her career as a fashion model and quickly became a household name. In 1952, she made her film debut in La Belle Harbor. Brigitte went on to star in some of the most popular films of the 1950s and 1960s, including And God Created Woman and Viva Maria. Brigitte was also an outspoken animal rights activist, and she campaigned against the use of fur in fashion. In 1973, she retired from movies, but she continued to make headlines with her public outspokenness outspokenness and scandalous private life. Brigitte Bardot was a true original, and her influence is still felt today. Brigitte Bardot was a French actress and model who was one of the most famous sex symbols of the 50s and 60s. She was known for her curvaceous figure, which she maintained through diet and exercise. In particular, Brigitte Bardot's diet was very strict, and she avoided all processed foods. Instead, she ate plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables, lean protein, and healthy fats. This diet helped her to maintain her slim figure and allowed her to enjoy a long and successful career in Hollywood. Brigitte Bardot's diet is an excellent example of how eating unprocessed, whole foods can help you stay in shape. If you're looking to improve your health and lose weight, Brigitte Bardot's diet is a great place to start. And I mean, she's still kicking around. And next we have Sophia Loren, who's also still alive. Sophia Loren was one of the most popular actresses of her time. Born in 1934 in Rome, Sophia began her career as a child actress and soon became a leading lady in Italian cinema. Sophia's looks and talent helped to make her an international star, and she went on to appear in several Hollywood films, including The Pride and the Passion and It Started in Naples. In addition to her successful film career, Sophia is also known for her flamboyant fashion sense and her tumultuous love life. She has been married twice, first to actor Carlo Ponti and then to a producer Ricardo. Sophia Loren is a true Hollywood legend, and her story is one that continues to fascinate audiences all over the world. Sophia Loren was once asked about her diet, to which she famously replied, "Everything you see I owe to spaghetti." And while that may be a bit of an exaggeration, there's no doubt that Sophia Loren's diet played a role in her stunning figure and timeless beauty. So what was Sophia Loren's diet like? For starters, she ate a lot of pasta. In fact, pasta was a staple of her diet, and she even claimed that it was the secret to her curves. Sophia also enjoyed other Italian classics like pizza and risotto, but she wasn't afraid to indulge in a bit of dessert now and then, enjoying treats like gelato and tiramisu. Sophia Loren's diet was a delicious mix of all of the best Italian food has to offer, and it's no wonder she looks so amazing. And I mean, clearly her Mediterranean diet works for her. I mean, she's still alive and looks amazing. The 1960s was a decade of change, and that change extended to the way people ate. For the first time, there was a shift away from traditional foods and towards processed, convenient meals. This new way of eating was praised for its efficiency and cost effectiveness. However, it came at a price. 1960s diets were often high in sugar and fat and low in nutrients. This led to a rise in obesity and diet-related health problems. In conclusion, the 1960s were a turning point for the way we ate. I mean, a lot of people still had the smaller portions, but this was kind of the beginning of the processed foods and the added sugars and the chemicals in a lot of food. And while processed foods may be convenient, they come at a cost to our health. 1960s old Hollywood diets were famously restrictive, consisting mainly of cigarettes and coffee, although a lot of these stars did enjoy pasta. This kind of diet was intended to keep actresses thin and delicate featured. However, it had the unexpected side effect of causing wrinkles and sagging skin. In addition, these actresses often found themselves feeling tired and irritable. As a result, many of them decided to give up these diets in favor of more balanced meals. While this may have been better for their health, it ultimately led to the end of an era in Hollywood history. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to check out my 1950s diet secrets. Alright, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!